Welcome. Tonight's program will dive deep into fringe knowledge of lost, hidden, and suppressed truths about the nature of our reality. The decoding process can be uncomfortable and at times frightening. However, you are not alone on this journey of understanding. Welcome to the Shadow Band Podcast.
Why are we still small? Why are we still small? I don't know what happened. There we go. There we go. Now we're not small.
What's up?
Saw it, dude. I saw it.
I gotta like move in. So tiny on here, bro. I got some of those groove packs you were telling me about.
Oh, the drum packs.
Yeah, dude.
Which ones you get?
I got dude from Arch Echo,
Okay.
whatever his name is, Richie something. I got just some generic one, and I got Anoop.
Got that Anup Zastry.
Yeah, bro. Dude, his freaking stuff rips.
Did you get the Get Good drum kit as well?
I got I got Superior Drummer. No, what is it called? Modern and Massive.
Modern and Massive, yeah.
I got Modern Massive 2, I think is the new one.
Dude, and you get one of those.
The presets are insane, dude.
Yeah, you don't even have to do anything.
You don't have to do anything. You put like heavy thwacky on, and it's just like, woo!
Yeah, the only thing that I changed on, I think I have the Modern Metal kit, Get Good Drum Modern Metal kit. The only thing that I did was tune the drums.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, the snare is a little too piccolo-y for me. It's kind of high. It's a little bit old Lamb of Gotti. I like something that's a little bit more deep.
Yep. I just made sure because the kit as it comes like standard tuning, and I play drop A. All my music is in like drop A, so I just had to down tune all the drums.
Yeah.
Just so it doesn't clash. And you really can't even tell, but like you can kind of tell, you know. My untrained ear can notice it ever so slightly.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I never liked a tom that you could hear the ding in until I listened to Anup. And like when he does his fills, it's like doom, doom. I'm like, oh, it is so sick, dude. Yeah, it actually is sick.
He's sick. Yeah, those kits are nice, man. Those group packs are nice too, because you can just drag and drop like a whole drum part. Like that's how I usually do it. I'll come up with a riff, and I'm like, this is sick. And I'll just grab one of the grooves and just put it there. And then I'll change all the kick drums to match. And then I'll start manipulating the cymbals so that it's like accenting this and syncopating here and that. But it makes it so much easier than like placing every single one all the way through. It at least gives you like a skeleton that you can manipulate, and it's just way easier.
Well, I suck at playing guitar. I just not something I ever kept up with. So what I'm doing, or what I just did last week, is I took one of his grooves, changed the notes around, changed all the placements of things so that it's something that I like, and maybe a little bit more of a repeating pattern instead of like this big 32 bar or whatever, 32 measure thing. And what I duplicated it, and I turned it into an instrument, and I got rid of like the hi-hats or whatever it was. And so now it's like some of the notes didn't go, but I like put it in a key. So now it's like perfectly syncopated to actual music. And then I moved some things around, and then I learned how to play that. It's pretty sick.
Yeah, that's also useful too, because like sometimes you don't have the groove in your head, but if you put the groove pack in there, move the stuff around, like you can just kind of write with the drums first. Yeah. Then you come back over it and hit it with the.
I just let the drums write it, so I turned all of his hits into notes on a whatever. So it's like whatever, it's like dun 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 dun. So it's like this pattern, and then I just learned the pattern, and stuff I didn't like, I moved around. So it took forever to like record it with my guitar, like memorize all the stupid patterns that are in there. But it sounds cool. Obviously, I'm not that good at guitar, and I don't have like a 7-string, so like the tone is not what I want. But in principle, it's pretty sick. I'm enjoying doing that.
Good, man. I'm glad you actually went and got the packs, dude. They definitely.
Oh, and they were on sale too, dude. They were only like $12.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, dude.
Now, even still though, like $20, $30 for like a good groove pack. I mean, you can't
Yeah.
really beat it, and it's just
Yeah.
it's so helpful. And honestly, that'll make you a better guitar player, just playing with that. You know, having that freedom to kind of like really dial it in. And you know, something about when you have like a good sounding kit, right? Because I'm not a
changes
drummer,
everything.
but I understand drums enough to where I can write MIDI drums, and being able to do that with a good sounding kit and a good sounding mix makes me feel like I'm a better guitar player. Like I get more juices flowing, and
Yeah.
you know.
Well, it took me so long to be able. I don't have a kit to play. If I could have a kit that I could play, it would be no problem. But I just have the keyboard. So instead of clicking and putting everything in, I would have a separate track for every piece. And then like if I was doing like ghost hits, I'd have a separate track for just my ghost hits. So just, you know, and then I have to have the hi-hat, and I'd have 2 separate tracks for the hi-hat for like different accent hits. And I'd sit there and I change the velocity. Well, if the velocities are wrong, but I have a velocity keyboard, so I would just like I could hit the keys. I was literally drumming with my fingers.
Yeah,
Like,
but then it just uses up so much more CPU because you got 87 tracks for one drum kit. It's like,
yeah, so it's ridiculous. So I have to do all that and then merge it into one, and then hopefully I got everything right. Because if I missed like one note, now I got the whole thing messed up. So it just took forever. So now just having a groove pack is like I can move it around, and the velocities are pretty much already good.
the only thing you need now is one of those MIDI bass packs.
I do need something with the bass. I mean, I dialed in a nice bass tone in Logic. It's very like P bass kind of deal, but you know, it's again, I got to go change the velocity of anything. You can't get like the sustain or like the thumb pluck versus like a finger versus a pick. It's just not the same.
Get the Kraken, bro. The Kraken drum pack or a Kraken bass. I have Kraken 2 is the one I use, and it's got all that, dude. You could turn a knob and get to the slap, finger pick, you know, pick, you know, muted. Like it's just as good as the drum groove pack. The only problem is the Kraken 2 was like $150 or $200. It was pricey. It was expensive. I don't know. But what are you gonna do? Hey, I like that background you got there, bud. That nice Bitcoin orange background you got going on there.
Yeah, buddy.
Looking slick.
Yeah, buddy. This is my room now.
Slick.
It's a real room.
You at Epstein's Island right now? Where is that?
You know what? I'm in Epstein's cell. Yeah, this is live footage from his cell. He's dead right there.
We would never know. We would never.
You would never know.
Oh, we got the more in the chat.
Stop.
Revenge of the Nerds. Yep. That's us.
Stop.
That's us.
I can't see any chats.
Thoughts on Warren Buffett saying it's going to zero, the Bitcoin? I'm pretty sure Warren Buffett changed his tune on that.
What kind of name is Warren anyway, bro? What are you?
Fuck Warren Buffett, dude. Who cares about that guy? He's like 90 years old. He made his billions. He's done, bro. He's done skis. I don't care. I have conviction.
GPT what it said, and that's what he just Warren Buffett doesn't know.
I've got conviction. That's all that matters to me, right? And if it goes to zero, fuck it, right? I mean, I'm not putting everything I got in there, but it's not going to go to zero, bud. There's people out there with buy orders. If it goes down to whatever number, they're going to buy $1 million worth. So it's never going to zero. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, and also like, yeah, who the heck is Warren Buffett, dude? Okay.
Yeah.
What you should be asking is, what do you think of Jeff not believing it's going to zero? That's what you should be asking. Okay. Put some respect on Jeff's name. Okay. He's the expert. The polls were wrong.
Warren Buffett.
Jeff was right.
I'm the next Warren Buffett.
Yeah. Freaking Warren Buffett's, dude. Right there.
But yeah, I don't want to turn this into another
we already did that.
episode.
We already did that. We already did that. Oh, have you seen, bro? I mean, I'm getting exhausted with all of the political right now in the conspiracy world, but the one guy that voted no on this release the Epstein files thing is getting slaughtered. Absolutely slaughtered.
Yeah, he's cooked.
And it's hilarious.
He's cooked. Now,
from Louisiana, from Congressman from Louisiana.
Yeah, I looked this up and I was like, listen, okay, I kind of understand the argument.
Yeah.
Devil's advocate, you know, because what's going to happen is if they drop everything, if they just released everything on the Epstein files, okay, there's going to be names in there, and you know, not everybody that's on the list necessarily did something wrong, right? And unfortunately, because the way that they've played this whole Epstein thing out for the last decade, okay, if you're on the list, you're guilty in the public's eye. Done. Right? So I understand why you wouldn't want to do that, because there's going to be people on the list and they're not necessarily guilty of anything. And you don't want them to just be lumped in as guilty just because they're on the list. Get it.
That is true. I get it.
However, I don't really care about any of those damn lizards. So if they get lumped in as guilty, fuck them. That's how I feel. Sucks to suck, dude. You shouldn't have gone.
You should have just released it when we knew that.
Right.
Right? When the discourse around it, when they're talking about, oh, Will Smith was on it and this person was on it, and everyone was like, okay, chill. Just because they were on the flight logs doesn't mean they did anything. Just because they went to the island doesn't mean they did anything. I don't think anybody believes that Stephen Hawking was abusing anybody. Right? Could have been.
How could he? He couldn't even move.
He was cheating.
What is he, just like
with his handler?
Is he just in the thing with the joystick and he's just
oh, feels good to get sucked.
Like,
you need to suck me.
Like, what? Does it even work down there, bro? I don't think so, man.
I don't know. I do know. I mean, I'm pretty sure it is common knowledge that, or like, you know, this. I'm not exposing any secrets here. Somehow he was cheating on his lady with his handler or something. I don't know. Just
That's
crazy.
Like the one part of his body that worked.
Yeah. Only my penis works.
Just bricked up.
Oh, feels good.
Just bricked up, fucking wheeling around. Oh, that's crazy, dude.
I'm about to bust.
Oh no, dude.
Crazy, dude. That's crazy. Anyway, yeah, when we were all talking like that, and that was like the idea, that's when they should have released it. They should have, oh, it's perfect time. Let's put the list out. Everyone's kind of on the understanding that not everybody that wins is going to be a bad guy, and that would have been it. But nope, they wanted to wait. And now everybody's like, "Oh, you're on it. You're bad. You're a bad guy."
Yep. What are the
like, check his hard drives? He voted no. Check his drives. That's what you get.
Yeah. Listen, I don't even know. Like, I don't know, man. We've talked about this so many times, bro. Like, I don't care what they drop. I'm so far beyond like the Epstein files, right? Because even if they dropped everything that they say that they have, and it's like all this stuff, I'm gonna just look at it like it's fake, because they're never gonna drop the Moloch dungeon adrenochrome harvesting facilities underneath the island. Like, that's never coming out.
Or Zorro Ranch.
You're going to get the trafficking stuff. You're going to get the, Stephen Hawking was touching people, whatever it is. I don't know. But you're never going to get the true, dark, cultish, like, intermingling with entities, doing like seances and manifesting,
transate, and all this kind of stuff. You're not going to get any of that.
You're not going to get that, bro. And unless I get that, I'm just going to look at it like they just whitewashed the whole thing, which is probably what's taken them so long to do, is to figure out how do we whitewash this to a point to where it's believable, and the whole thing. And then even if it all comes out, nobody's going to jail, dude. Nobody's going to get arrested. Nobody's going to be punished for anything that happens. You're going to get like 3 or 4 schmucks that are guilty in the public's eye. They are going to resign from their position, even though they already got $20 billion in the bank. They're going to have to resign. Oh, boo. Like, that's
they're going to resign and take a pension.
Yeah.
So they're still going to get paid.
Yeah, so I'm not even worried about the Epstein thing. However, Crystal was showing me some of the memes are hilarious right now. Donica Lewinsky, have you seen this?
Donica Lewinsky.
Have you seen this, dude?
No, I have not seen Donica
So
Lewinsky.
apparently there's like all these pictures of like Trump like like holding Bill Clinton's schwang, right? Or like just all this stuff going on. Maybe it's real, maybe it's not. I don't know. I don't care. But the Donica Lewinsky,
That's
the
funny.
gulp of America, right? Like these memes, and they already got people are already selling shirts. We're too slow.
yeah.
We're too slow.
This is, dude, Trump is toast. He is toast. And his endorsement is toast. Whoever it means nothing anymore. I mean, his ratings are so freaking low right now. If he goes and endorses JD Vance next, everyone's going to be like, boo. It's like, there's no way, dude. It's just, America's cooked, dude.
I think we're at that point, man. We've talked about this a lot where, the AI overlords, I think that, Trump might be like the last president that, in the way that we know it.
Real president, yeah.
The last real president. He might be the last one. I mean, AI is getting to that point. It's moving real quick, and I think something's going to pop off. I think something's going to happen. The internet's going to get a little too wild for a while, and they're going to have to be like, listen, we have to use the AI to govern us because it knows better. It's got all the info, can make the decisions. There's no corruption, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Right, of course, quote unquote. But that's going to be their argument, right? Like,
yeah, of course, yeah.
Uncorruptible, you can't lobby it, blah, blah, blah.
It's going to understand humor and know whether you are joking or not to pull your content down. It's like, yeah, okay, all right.
Yep.
All right.
Trump story played out. Hail victory. Who's victory? Hail victory. Yeah, I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just, look, at the end of the day, all this stuff with like the super surveillance and all that kind of crap that's coming in, it's just, dude, we're done. The policing is going to get bonkers. The surveillance, the censorship is coming. It has to come back. It absolutely has to. It's just everybody. There's no like. It's like part of you, part of me at least, like likes the idea of there being like no establishment, right? No like. Let's get rid of all these like old guard. Been in politics since JFK. Like, get these people out of here. They're not up to date with like where things are going. They've got an agenda. They've been working deals with people for generations. Like, get rid of all this institutionalism stuff. And let's get back to the basics. Let's get back to freedom. But that is not what's happening. It's like there's people are leaving and it's getting way worse. They're like, okay, wait, hold on a second, guys. Maybe these old fogies were like not the worst thing ever. Like, yeah, forever wars and stuff are terrible, but like, what's the alternative here? Are we just going to get like AI overlords instead? Is that?
I think so, man.
God,
I just don't see it because, like you said, I mean, you got these because you even had like this. All these like new Republicans, right? I forget that there's like a term for them. Like these new Republican guys, these like
neocons.
The neocons are the old ones, right? But you got these new ones that, you got these new ones that came in, and they were supposed to be like, all for America and stuff, and sounded great at first, and then you realize like, like no, they're just part of the same system, right? They're doing the same shit. I think the system as we know it, the governing body, the way we look at it, is gonna go away, and it's probably gonna go away pretty soon. Because what else are you gonna do? You're just gonna keep going with the same bullshit, and like nobody trusts anything anymore. Like nobody. Like I don't care if you're on the left, you're on the right, whatever your political views are, you have a strong distrust in the institutions. Period. Now you might trust this one, and then those guys don't trust that one, and but you don't trust the other institution, but they do trust that institute. You know what I mean? So it's like the tribalism and the division has gotten to the point where there's not a whole trust from anybody in the system as a whole, right? Like,
Yeah.
can you name one institution that you trust?
No.
Yeah, me either.
No. I would say like some of the new media, but I don't trust them either.
I don't trust them either, man.
I
I don't
I
trust them
don't
either.
trust them either.
Now, I watch a lot of this new media because it's just more entertaining to watch some nerd on the internet just going off than it is to watch like Fox News or CNN, right? Like I'd rather watch, whoever,
Well,
take your pick.
yeah, I can't smell the agenda as much, so I go, all right, whatever. I'll give it a try, and then as soon as I'm like, oh, I smell the agenda. It's a familiar odor. I'm out. Bye bye. It's like that was like that when Ben Shapiro first popped off. I was like, oh, dude, Ben, he's got like a nice view of things, and then all of a sudden it becomes very clear. It's like, okay, I know this smell. This is it smells like we're going to war. It smells like we're going to try to bomb Iran. And sure enough, there we go, going to bomb Iran. It's like, and it happens with literally everybody. It's like something happens and you go, there it is.
I think
And I don't trust it anymore.
I think there's two big possibilities, and they might really be the same thing that happens. But I've been saying for a long time, I think there's going to be like a big black swan event, right? Another COVID style global issue that everybody kind of like comes together because of this global event, right? Now, I personally think it's going to be some fake outer space bullshit, right? Aliens are here, or a meteor's coming, or a solar flare. You saw what happened with the sun like a week ago or 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
No, not even. It was like a few days
Aurora
ago.
Borealis a couple days ago.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. There was like a
In
solar
Texas?
storm. Yeah, it was like a solar storm that could have wiped everything out. We would have been back in the Stone Age, right? And it's like, I think there's going to be some external threat like that.
Yeah.
And they're going to say, hey, look, man, this is the thing. And it's going to be a big global thing. And all the people are going to come together and boom, globalism. So if that happens, you're not going to have governments in the way that we know them now. You're going to have fucking super Earth, right? From Helldivers. You're going to have super Earth, right? And it's going to be a totally different thing that's going to happen. But I also kind of see it like, you ever played Fallout?
Yeah.
So I think it was Fallout New Vegas, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been Fallout 3, but you had the radio, right? And it was like the president or whatever was always on the radio, and he was always like doing stuff on the radio. But it was a robot.
Yeah.
The whole time. It was the robot. Like when you finally got to the objective, right? It wasn't even a dude. It was just like an algorithm spitting out these presidential spiels over the radio. And I think that's kind of where we're going. I think you're going to get like deep fake president. Like we're going to have a president that's not a real person, right? Now,
we're going to have Giga Chad president.
We're going to have Giga Chad president, and he's going to be like killing it on the TV, killing it on the radio, on the podcast, but it's all going to be deep faked. It's not even a real person. And then that'll probably happen for a while. We'll have a few of those before they hit us with the like, okay, we just got to have the AI overlord of Super Earth.
Part of it sounds kind of cool, not gonna lie. But at the same time, it's like Dave Smith's been saying this. Nobody asked for this. We never had a referendum. He kept saying we never had a referendum on global interventionism and stuff and setting up an empire. And it's like so many things are like this. We are the superpower on Earth, but we are not a super powerful people, right? It's like we vote people in and then they do whatever they want or whatever some other group of people want. And I'm like, I don't want super Earth. I want super old Earth. Give me old Earth. Kind of, but see, I don't even want that either because it wasn't good.
Yeah, they didn't have any air conditioning. They didn't have AC. They didn't have ice.
AC. Hey, I don't want to go back to spear chucking and stuff and trying to like hunt my own food. It's like we should be moving in a direction where things are just continually getting better and better and better, but they never do. Like they'll get kind of better, but they get so much worse at the same time. It's just like, what is this all for? All this technological advancement, all this, you know, expanding the life cycle of human beings and all this kind of stuff for what? To be in each other's throats?
Not even, man. This is the Lucifer's technology thing, bro. It's the entities, the entities or the demonic forces or whatever they are. I don't know. They're just getting us to create the systems and the technologies to get us to the point to where we open the portals. That's what I think. I don't even think that these scientists and these government, like, politicians, like, they even understand what they're doing. They're just pawns on the chessboard, dude, just being moved around.
Inevitable.
Move here, pass this, move here, start this company, invent that, pass this, and then lobby this, and then, you give it enough time and enough moves, and boom, portal opens, entities are coming through. It's going to be like that movie, The Fog, or whatever it was, where the damn fog rolled over and it was just interdimensional beasts eating people. It's going to be something like that.
It definitely, I mean, it could be. And then maybe that's the old Earth that we're moving toward, like back in the Anunnaki days and stuff, Oh, those cookies.
Fresh baked chocolate chip cookies.
Dang.
Ooh, tall glass.
Oh, and some milk? Dude, what are you, going to bed? You about to hit the sheets, dude?
Woo! Oh, they're warm too. Soft.
All right, dude, enough, bro. I haven't eaten dinner yet, bro. Chill. What is this, Guantanamo Bay, dude? God. Yeah, we might be moving towards some Anunnaki stuff, man. That might be what happens. Maybe that is the old Earth that we go to. Like breakaway civilization, but also interdimensional entities are on the Earth steering humankind.
Look, man, I was watching this video the other day. It was like a 3-hour YouTube documentary about the Anunnaki. I love this stuff, dude.
Yeah, man.
This is my favorite stuff. Like I like a good conspiracy, right? But you start talking to me about Sumerian kings lists, where, the first ruler of ancient Sumer, according to the tablets, ruled for 48,000 years, and the next one ruled for like 36,000 years. And you had a whole succession of these kings that ruled for tens of thousands of years. And then at the bottom of the tablet, it says, then the flood came. And then all the rulers after that, 40 years, 20 years.
That's a thing?
Yes.
Bro, I love when the Bible is proven right by other independent documents. I love that.
Same.
I love that. That's crazy. And then the flood came. See, but this is what we're talking about, bro. This is what we're always talking about, everybody who's listening. There are resets, man. And they happen on intervals. And it's like, you got to know the signs. When are you getting close to a reset? Like what was happening when that last king before then the floods came happened, right? What was that last thing before the meteors or before the blackout or the ice age or whatever it was? Like, what was civilization like, or peak civilizations like, before Atlantis was gone and Tartaria was destroyed and whatever, it's like, what was it like? Because humans, they get up, it's like an asymptote, whatever, where you get so close to the curve, but you never touch it. Two lines lining up on each other. It's like, we get really close to like interstellar, interdimensional us being able to do it, and then all of a sudden, oh, so close. Oh, so sorry, can't do it.
Oops. Yeah.
Stone Ages.
I don't know how real some of that is. I mean, it's just like people interpreting cuneiform tablets. Like, how do they know what that shit says, right?
I mean, we do know that this is the thing. This is what we can always come back to. There's pyramids. There's ornate temples carved into granite. There's laser precise, not time period appropriate items are found places. So we know there's highly advanced civilizations. So we know that. That's a given. All the mythos around that, it's up for debate.
Yeah.
But we know that they existed.
Yeah, I mean, and the timelines are always like, who knows, right? I've said this before. Like, I personally I enjoy. It's like fantasy, right? Like some people like to, they obsess about Lord of the Rings or Star Wars or football or something. Like I like to obsess about the possibility that humans have been advanced and creating advanced civilizations for a million years, right? To me, that's just it's a fun thing to think about. Now, the more could be right. It could all be fabricated bullshit. Freemasons could have poured the pyramids, whatever, however long ago, 400 years ago, whatever you said, right? Those ornate temples carved into one piece of stone in India that you're talking about, right? Sure, could have been done, a couple hundred years ago by a bunch of Freemasons. That's fun to think about too, but it's not as exciting to think about, hey man, there was rulers that ruled for 43,000 years. Like, that's just cool to think about.
Yeah, you think Joe Biden's old. Dude, the 43,000-year-old dementia these guys had, they're just like, all of them are Stephen Hawking at the end.
Crushing it, too.
Yeah. Well, like, I was reading something about some document that they found of, or not document, but like some history they found of the Aztecs, that the Aztec temples were not built by the Aztecs, that there's Aztec writings that they found those already there and were like, oh sweet, let's set up shop here, and whatever made these, let's try to call these things down. And that's where they got into all like the cutting people's hearts out and stuff and rolling heads down temples and stuff. Like, that's where they get into all this stuff. But it also helped them advance because they get there and they're like, oh, these temples, and they can kind of read what's going on, and like, oh, these things have signs and seasons, and they can help us with all these things and help us interpret the astrological signs and all that kind of stuff. So they find it and it immediately jumps them leaps forward from all the other tribes around them, and they can do a lot of conquering. Yeah. So I'm like, oh snap, dude, I wonder if that's what happened to us.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that that's what happened to most of the ancient cultures, not just like the Mayans and the Aztecs or whatever, but like same thing in Egypt too. There's a lot of these archaeologists or whatever, they're digging down, and the further down they go, the more advanced it is, right? Where you have like these massive, 100-ton blocks and these perfect, organized perfectly, celestially, and so on and so forth. And on top of them, you have smaller bricks that were placed by like the dynastic Egyptians and stuff like that. And as they're going deeper into some of these, I don't even want to call them tombs, but that's what they call them. They go down deeper in there. Like, there's no hieroglyphs. There's no hieroglyphs. All the hieroglyphs were put on and in these places by the Egyptians. So it's like they found these things too, and they were like, oh shit, like these are awesome, let's use them. And they started putting hieroglyphs in there and all that kind of stuff.
Making their own myth about those things.
Right, and the problem is that mainstream archaeology will look at that and say, oh, look, there's a hieroglyph of Khufu inside this pyramid. He must have been the one responsible for having this built. And it's like, no, he was probably just the one ruling at the time that they put the hieroglyphs there. But the structure was already there.
Yeah. And go and like start scraping away at his hieroglyph. There's probably one right underneath it.
Probably. Let's see what the Moore's saying. He's probably losing his mind right now. It melts my mind that the earth and us could be less than 10,000 years old. I have no proof beyond hundreds of years. They say these trees are 5,000 years old, oldest living thing, but not sure if that is accurate. Listen, I'm with you, man. Like, we could, because you're right. I can't verify anything existed before like my memory kicked in when I was like 6 years old.
Yeah.
Like, realistically. Okay.
I can't verify that yesterday happened.
That's also true. You could have just blipped into this simulation right now.
Yeah. And just
download
it. But that's the whole idea with like, because there's like this, I don't know, there's like a weird, the ability for people to not be able to hold two ideas at the same time, it shocks me. There's like Christians out there that are like, the earth is 7,000 years old and that's how old the earth is. It's like, is it not possible that the trees that God created were old? Like if you cut a tree down on the 4th day, how many rings are in that tree? None? Or was it old? Adam wasn't a baby. How old was he when he was made? Like, he made a mature adult. Like, he made the earth. If you go and test a rock for the erosion, what is it, every single rock a cube? Like, he made an old earth, obviously made an old earth.
Well, this is something I've always thought about.
How old is it, though?
If you're taking like the biblical viewpoint, my thought was always like, how do you know that one day is one day to God, right? Like,
exactly,
one day to him could be a billion years, and
exactly
human beings, right? So, and he's like, yeah, I created the earth in 6 days and rested on the 7th. That could be 7 billion years, dude. You don't know.
Could be. Yeah. So it's like, you gotta, I mean, you just chalk it up to like, okay, there's no way to know, so let's just go with this one, whatever one is, like, I guess, easier to wrap your head around. But at the same time, it's like, anytime you're talking about, this is what's like crazy. You're talking about a being that could do anything. So why would it take him 7 billion years? Or why not take 7 billion years? Who freaking cares? Like, you're talking about a mythical. Yeah. The same with like, when they're, when we talk about like breakaway civilizations, and it's like, oh, well, it's not possible for them. Like, oh, who knows, dude? Look at what we've done. I'm talking to you on a freaking portal. Like this is 30 years, 40 years.
Yeah.
This is not possible. When I was a child, you couldn't do this. I'm now an older child, and you can do this, and you can do it in 4K, and we can actually do it in VR. We're doing it primitive style. We can be live streaming this in a.
The simplicity of the complexity of the thing that we're doing right now blows my mind when you really think about it. Like, you have a thought, right? You're moving your muscles in your vocal cords to create a certain sound. That sound is being picked up. It's being picked up by the sensors and shit inside the microphone. That's being translated to ones and zeros on your computer. It's being beamed across the internet, right? My computer's picking up the ones and zeros, decoding it, and spitting it out on my little felt speakers in here, and it's vibrating at just the right thing, so I can not only hear what your thought is, but in your voice. Like, you sound like you, right? Like, the whole thing, like you said, it's a portal.
Doesn't make any sense.
It's mind-blowing, but we all just like doom scroll all day, and it's like nothing, you know?
Yeah, literally. I'm like, I can watch what happened years ago in real time. Like, that's not possible. That is a portal into another time. So this is what I was saying earlier. Like, do you think we found this? Do you think it's possible that the technology for like the microchip was found somewhere in like the ziggurat or something, or like? Yes. You think they pulled one out of a Stargate or something?
I'd have to find this picture, but there's pictures out there. There's ancient temple complexes. I forget where. I want to say in the Amazon or somewhere, and they did these LiDAR scans.
Oh yeah, the Amazon.
They can see that there's these geometric patterns, right, on some of these structures. And I saw somebody, this is where I talk about the microchip Earth thing. Somebody was looking at this and he was like, wait a minute, that looks familiar. And then he goes and looks at a microchip or a transistor or whatever he was looking at, and it's the exact same geometry on this, whatever, 2 mile wide stone slab is in your microchip. Same exact thing. He even like overlays it, you know, he's like, this is it's exactly the same, just a different scale. So I think that whether it's the archaeologists or whatever it is, I don't know, they're finding certain things and they're being like, that's smart. And then they're putting that into the technology that we have right now. So we think Frank invented this shit in a laboratory a few years ago. In reality, somebody or something handed that knowledge to him and was like, look, man, this is a way to create this. This is how you can get ones and zeros to translate into a harmonic frequency or whatever the thing might be. Put that in your shit, right? And what's funny is when you go back and you read like the diaries and journals of some of these people who've invented like crazy technology, most of them say the same thing. They either got it in like a dream state, they got it in like a theta brain state, right? Like they were right in between sleep and awake, and like the information was coming to them, or they got it in a flow state, which is a theta brainwave state, right? So it's like once you get into this altered state of consciousness, the information comes to you. This is why I always talk about the Lucifer's technology, because I personally think that there is some external force, entities, demonic, angelic, I don't know, whatever they are, clockwork elves, they're when you get into this altered state of consciousness, they're able to feed information in between realms, and you're able to pick up on this. You're able to receive the transmission when you're in these states, and you can if you're open enough to it, you know, you can translate that into like material things in this realm. So that's kind of what I think.
I mean, you got to think like when these things were being invented, right? They were making engines, super mechanical. This liquid explodes and creates combustion, which makes a vacuum here and pushes this, and like a combustion engine. They're working on combustion engine. They're working on making things shoot. They're figuring out that you can put sound through a wire, and then they somehow come up with the transistor, and you get like vacuum tube technology and LCD screens. Like the leap to get to the internet is so drastic. And then the internet to like, there's claims pretty substantial of like deatomizing and like moving objects through space-time now. And there's all these people talking about in like the desert, they get the offerings in like the Area 51 thing where they just come out and there'll be some new technology they have to kind of like back engineer. Like, what? Dude, just the idea of a supercomputer or whatever they call that. What's it called? Quantum computer?
Quantum computer.
Like billions of calculations at the same time. What is that?
Check this
out.
out.
Yeah, look at that, dude. That is a, come on, bro.
So, oh wait, what did I just do?
That looks like a Sandy microchip.
Can you did it go over to the?
It's kind of big, but I see like the whole Google page.
Oh, okay. It didn't do what I wanted it to do. Riverside sucks, man. Hold on.
You got to share the other screen now.
Yeah, you're right. Hold on. Sorry, nerds. Give me a second. Okay. You see that?
It's not big. Now it is. Yep.
Okay, this is the Temple of Ramses. Okay. Looks sick. Cool, right? Temple of Ramses. No problem. I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to have to go back and pull this one up too.
We're going to have to A-B it.
Freaking Riverside sucks with this. It's like
the Temple of Ramses 3 in Luxor, Egypt. What is that, a giant casino? Or are those all slot machines?
This is going to be super small. Can I zoom in?
You're super small.
Okay, it's grainy. Can you see it?
Bro.
Temple of Ramses next to a stick of RAM for your computer.
Of RAM? What does RAM stand for? Hold on. No, you keep doing that. Go ahead. I'm looking up what RAM stands for.
Well, I'm just pointing this out. And look, I'm not a computer guy. I don't know if that's how RAM is really laid out, right? Technologically or what have you. But The internet's pretty convincing, bro. The internet's pretty convincing.
Yeah, dude, obviously. Look at that. That was crazy. What's that guy's name? Ramses? How do you spell that?
Ramscs.
Okay. Ancient Egypt. You guys are getting some old school shadow band podcast right now where your boys are looking things up on the fly, dude. Yeah. Okay, that was a dead end.
Yeah, I'm trying to find other pictures of this temple to verify that that's what we were looking at. I think it is. But yeah, it's almost like the ancients had some kind of understanding of how computing worked, and they were laying things out in that way. Like they were, I don't know, they were using the earth as a giant computer or something, right?
Or at
Like
least their temples.
like we put these geometric shapes and patterns and certain configurations inside these tiny little microchips in order to make things happen, like we were talking about with your thoughts being transmitted to me via technology, right? So we're putting this geometry and all this and very specific orders and placements in this tiny little thing that's in the computer. I wonder, like, were the ancients aware of this type of magic as well, and they were like, but they were using it on a grand scale, right? On like an Earth-size scale, where they were putting the same geometric shapes and patterns in stone, in granite, quartz granite, by the way, which is like conductive and all these types of things. And then they were aligning
Harmonically resonant.
Yeah, harmonically resonant, aligning it to celestial bodies, which are emitting some form of frequencies as well, right? And the whole thing is like this giant computer. Like, are we literally just walking over and putting roads over the top of ancient compute, and we just don't even realize it?
It could be, man. I feel like that's what it is. And I wonder if we're going to return to that in the next reset. Like, are we going to get like, oh, everything, and then it's like, oh, we have to rebuild. And like, is the next thing we rebuild something more akin to this ancient sort of like harmony with the earth? Are we going to take what we know about the chips and the superconductors and all these kind of things and like get harmonious with the earth? Because there's like a real big earth push, this carbon footprint thing, and like trying to global warming and stuff. There's like a real eco thing happening. I was like, do we get harmonious with the earth again, or do we go? I wonder. You know what it is, man? It might be that the AI, once we download everything into it or upload everything into it, it's going to go, y'all are messing up. You're not in harmony with the earth. We're going to get back. We're going to start doing some crazy things. We're going to get, everything back into the right frequencies. You're going to start building your roads out of quartz. You're going to start building your places out of marble again. We're going to get gold on top of the buildings again. We're going to start turning cities into superconductors, and everybody's kind of like energy is you're going to like walk into a building and feel like you're going to like hum with the building.
You ever get into the bells?
Yes, I have gotten into the bells.
And how, like, after World War I, World War II, like, they were just getting rid of all the bells and all of the
bells.
It's like those bells were like harmonically tuned or something to, whatever healing properties or spiritual I don't know, whatever. Just like those bowls, I forget what they're called. The bowls you hit it.
Yeah.
Like, but the bells were in these cathedrals that were like architecturally, like there was sacred geometry, architecture, and the acoustics. You could whisper in the corner over here and hear it perfectly over there, and all that kind of stuff with these bells in these town centers. And it's like something happened. They just went and they were just like, no, fuck these bells. And they took them all. They melted them all down. They got rid of them all.
You know, it's been a while since I was onto the bells, but I do remember like there was something about like they would put bells in obviously churches, and it wasn't just to like ring and let everybody know that services, you know, it's time for church because not everybody had a clock. But it was to like they would ring them as like you leave, or they would ring them when there's like a tragedy in the community and stuff. And it was like to like uplift, to like increase to like retune you,
Right.
to upgrade you, like your whatever, up resonate you. And then also in like hospitals, I heard that they were like bells for like healing and stuff. And I think they still use, I think that's what the bowls are for in like Chinese medicine and stuff. And it's like, what is that?
Same with the organs.
Bro,
Like
a church organ is nuts.
like they went through and got rid of a bunch of the massive ancient organs and stuff that were in these cathedrals and that.
I've been through plenty of like big shows and stuff and concert, whatever. But you go to like a basilica or some grand church and you let an organ hit you, dude, it's like it's like encapsulating. It like gets into the fibers of your being. Like you just get surrounded by just like, and it's just like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's like vibrating
Crazy.
your cells, dude.
Yeah.
Like it's cymatics
whole
on a
building.
cellular level. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole building like conducts this note. It's crazy. I've never felt anything like a church organ before.
So think of that stuff, the bells, the organs, the cathedrals, right? But bring it back to ancient times, this temple of Ramses type situation. Like, did they know, they must have had some understanding of this, right? I mean, they were moving 100-ton blocks, right? They were organizing them. Like, this is one thing that I never understood about like mainstream archaeology is they say things like, oh, civilization started, 6,000-7,000 years ago because, agriculture popped up and now we had an excess of food and that gave people excess of time so they can start thinking about things. But it's like, but hold on, because they were building these, we talked about this, these astronomically aligned structures out of megaliths that, number one, they weren't even supposed to be able to move, let alone cut and transport, right? They figured out how to do all that real quick, like right at the beginning of civilization, and they were able to align them to celestial motions that you can't even see in the lifespan of a human, right? Like we've talked about, like, what is it? Every 72 years, you get 1 degree of precessional motion, right? So like the Earth wobbles 1 degree every 72 years. Now, if you go back to ancient Sumeria or something, according to them, the average lifespan was 30 years old, right? You were an old man if you were as old as I am now.
That's not possible,
right?
Bro.
So it would have taken 2 full lifespans of staring at a star in the sky to realize that it moved a degree. And you'd have to do that hundreds of times in order to like see the full motion, and hundreds of more times to be able to recognize the pattern of the full motion, right? Because you couldn't just, even if you had generation after generation after generation watching these movements, 72 years, 1 degree, even if you had enough generations watching it to see the full 360 degree situation.
You have to know what a degree is.
You have to know what a degree
How
is.
the freaking balls did they know what a degree is?
And time. They have to understand time in the way that we understand time. There's no way that civilization started then, dude. This is my whole thing. Like we were talking about, these ancient cultures stumbled across these objects in these places, and it still probably took them a few hundred years to realize, like, the corner of this thing is pointed right at the fucking thing, and that every 400 years it lines up perfectly with that. Like, it still took a long time for them to analyze the things that they stumbled across.
They might not have even known, dude. It's highly possible that the ancient Egyptians had no idea. Like the enslaved the Hebrews, Egyptians, right? The Ramses, whatever, that they had no idea what those things were. They were just like these huge, you know, creations from a god from a long time ago or some demigod or whatever, like Ra, whoever that was. He built those and they don't know what they are. So they just bury their dudes in there. Like it's highly possible that they didn't go up and be like, "Oh my gosh, this is a 1/8, you know, calculation of the circumference of the Earth, and this calculation is the equator of the." It's possibly they didn't even know that.
Right.
They were just like, "This is sick, dude. Take the lion's head off of this and put my head on it."
Except most of these ancient cultures speak of a certain being or person or whatever, they call them gods usually, that came with the knowledge.
Yeah, that is true.
So it almost seems like there was an advanced civilization prior that knew all of this and were building all this crazy stuff. Something happened, cataclysm, aliens, I don't know. Something happened, okay? And the survivors of that civilization spread out and brought that knowledge to to Egypt, to Central America, to
Yeah.
South America, to Asia, and they informed them like, "Hey, I know you guys found this cool rock over here, but pay attention. Look over there. Stare at that for 200 years. Look at that. Figure it out, right? Oh, by
Yeah.
the way, here's language and math and alchemy and all this other stuff too."
Yeah.
So
I
that's
bet
kind of
like we find stuff that's in there now. Imagine what they found in there.
right. Oh yeah.
All the artifacts and the freaking, you know, space-time manipulating devices and resonant this. Like, you know, I'm sure that these guys didn't just come up with the freaking Peruvian death whistle or whatever that thing's called. I'm sure that there is like a maximally unharmonic thing. And I bet you it's pretty close to that. It's like, this is the most disruptive frequency combination you can come up with. It's like they didn't think of that. Highly doubt it. They're sitting there going like, "Oh, let's carve this thing and let's make a maximally disruptive." No, it's probably they probably stumbled across like, here's the one that absolutely is like, this is 420 hertz. This is Matt McCusker the dog. Like this is the flute. This is just everything is zen, and here is the polar opposite of that.
Like you
And they
blow
went,
it,
"Oh
and
my
like
God."
your molecules disintegrate.
Bro, have you heard like I
Oh,
saw
yeah.
a video of a guy that put 2 death whistles in his wife's tailpipes. So she starts the car and it's just like, "Ah!" Like that crazy sound that they make. They sound like freaking banshees. And she's like, "Oh my God, what is that?" Hilarious. But it's like, yeah, if you listen to someone like really belt on a death whistle, bro, it's disruptive. You go, ugh. You can't help but like, have a visceral reaction to it. You listen to like a drone of like a nice South American Peruvian flute, like real pan flute kind of, and it's just like beautiful. You go into a store that has tuned chimes, brother. There's nothing more. Store with some actually tuned chimes. Beautiful. You just melt.
You know, the Native Americans, man, they always talked about like the first peoples. We talked to this guy in Infinite Rabbit Hole one time. He came on and he like worked. Do you remember that guy's name, babe? The guy that worked with the chief of something.
Chief Keef?
I don't know. I bought his book, but I never read it. Yeah. So this guy,
Let's
he
talk
like,
about him.
he worked with like this chief of this tribe. I forget which tribe, and that chief of that tribe, his like grandfather or great grandfather or whoever it was like part of this of like the final battle, right? One of these massive final battles that all the Indian nations came together and like fought off the U.S. Army and stuff. And you know, there's like these stories about even from the U.S. soldiers that these Native Americans like had magic, like they had shamans that were able to do magic and like crazy shit, right? You'd be like, what? No way, dude. And but according to him and the chief or whatever, you know, they had these stories of like the first people. So like even the Native Americans didn't see themselves as the first ones here, right? Like they understood that there was a people before them, the mound builder cultures, the people who were actually building the mounds in North America with these burials with these 10-foot giants. Yes.
Bro. So there's lore even in the Native American culture of prior to that that were there.
Yeah, the first people.
Well, I mean, look, this is what I'm talking about, bro. This pre-flood thing with these people that are super old. Bible talks about dudes being 1,000. Maybe another time culture has a different calculation for that time. Maybe it is 42,000. These Nephilim, Anunnaki, demigod, Ra, all these these beings that were like different. They could do things that not everybody could do. People coming down on the Mount Hermon or whatever, and the Watchers giving knowledge to mankind, and like giants. It's like it's everywhere. It's all across the planet. There's pyramids everywhere. Dude, the day that we unearth a pyramid in Antarctica is gonna be, it's gonna level everything we knew about history. And if they can confirm 100% that there are those like conductor columns underneath the pyramid, bro, everything we know is just upside down. And George Washington wasn't our first president, bro.
I just don't know if they'll ever get. It's like the Epstein files, man. I don't know if they'll ever give us the juice on that, right? I don't know if they'll ever give us the full juice on that.
They couldn't.
Yeah, it would fuck everything up.
It would have to be like independently, and it's going to have to be well into when like Sora is just, the logo is just posted on every single video that comes out, so you have no idea what anything is, and be like, oh, that's AI, that's some fake stuff, man. There's no way, and just dismiss it, because I think that's closer to the truth. I think that, yeah, all the interactions we've had with people, like the U.S. going down and seeing, the Spain going down and seeing the Aztecs and all, those people were not the indigenous ones there. There's someone that was there beforehand.
Oh yeah, 100%. And who knows if the first people were even the first people? There could have been beings before them too.
Before them.
It could keep going back. Dude, for all
like the Russian doll of breakaway civilizations. Yep. But then you got to think, like, what's the next? Like after the reset, what are they going to say about us, right? Because history can be, I mean, what a quantum computer, it can be rewritten. We've talked about this, like that we can get a blackout and come back online and everything's back or whatever, and the internet is completely rewritten. Every document that's stored on the internet, I mean, you're not going to go and pull up the actual Declaration of Independence. You're going to go and pull up a scan of it, which a quantum computer could have rewritten in an hour, along with everything else.
The same thing will happen that happened the last time. So because we have massive underground facilities, we've got bunkers, nuclear bunkers, and all this kind of stuff, right? So if some event happened and wiped us all out, people are going to survive, right? Probably not you and me, but people are going to survive. And when those people come out of the caves, right, in 1,000 years or whatever, and they go and find some nomadic tribe that survived as well in the Amazon jungle or whatever, right, in the deserts of Mongolia or someplace, they're going to do what the other people did 10,000 years ago. They're going to show up and be like, hey, just so you know, like,
there were two prophets that used to speak to each other on a portal. They would open up a portal and communicate to each other and tell us what was going to happen. Their names were Jeff and Charlie.
Yeah, man. And they were giants, dude.
They were giants.
They were giants.
Yeah. They floated. We never saw their legs.
Yeah, somehow they had a thought and they were able to transmute it across vibrations and ones and zeros across time and space to the other person. Yeah. And they could hear themselves speaking through the portal. It was insane. Yeah. Yeah. It's exactly what's going to happen.
And there were two ancient mystical women that were that they would speak to in their distance of their portals.
Yeah, the oracles.
Yeah, the oracles that would give them knowledge when they needed it if they didn't know what they were talking about.
And chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah, they would eat what's the whatever that stuff is, ambrosia. Oh man, that's dude, that'd be hilarious. And like, and the prophet Jeff worshipped at the altar of the Tesseract, which was a cube that played metal music.
Speaking
They're
of,
gonna have no idea what anything was. Yeah, he'd wear. That's gonna be it, dude. I'm telling you. We're gonna become the next myth. They're gonna be like, and there was an orange-haired man, a baboon, that would go around, an orangutan man. That they called him the orangutan man, and he was the last leader. It's gonna be it. They called him. They called him Don Lewinsky.
Donica Lewinsky, bro.
What's crazy now is there's
Gulf of
too much
America.
there's like too much information to ever make it to the next. Like imagine what a history book is going to be filled with. We could never pass down the amount of information that we've documented. So it's going to have to be completely wiped and distilled down to just a few highlights, right? I mean, imagine if there was this amount of information for ancient Rome. It is too much.
Yeah.
You know, every single citizen in Rome had a blog for 40 years. Like it's too much information to parse through. And then also Mongolia and China and Russia and like every single place on earth had all of the information. It's just too much information. We could never pass this on. So it's going to have to get nuked and turned into myth again.
Yep, pretty much. You can't
Crazy.
scribe it all on a tablet, dude.
No. And what's crazy though is that we're not even doing it in books. So it's like whoever publishes like actual books or puts all their information down on like Displate or something, those are the ones that are going to actually carry on until someone can figure out how to get a server working again.
I mean, that could be why we don't have all the ancient knowledge now, because they were. I mean, if we go off what we were talking about earlier, where they were building these structures to be a giant computer, and they were putting all their information on the cloud, right? And then something happened, and everything got wiped out, and the only thing that survived was, you know, Frank carved this thing into a fucking stone. It made it, but all
Could
the
you
data.
imagine if it was like that's the L. Ron Hubbard of their time? It's like not even close to what happened.
Yeah,
It's
dude.
just fiction. Oh my gosh, dude! I've never thought about that, dude. The history we have could just be some lunatics writing, and the actual history they had like on their internet. Oh my
Yeah, like the only thing he was right about was if I scribe this onto a stone, it'll make it into the future. Like that was the only thing that he was right about.
They're like this freaking conspiracy theory guy about a flood. Like, what is he talking about? And they're just on the internet doing all kinds of crazy stuff, going interdimensionally between planets, and then all of a sudden their freaking teleporter is broken and all their information is gone. And then some dude who was like, "I'm a god."
Yep. Well, I think that's why like the first people were they must have been around long enough to have gone through enough resets to understand we've got to build these megalithic structures that can never be removed, and we have to align them and mathematically square them and use the dimensions so that we can translate information through the ages, right? Like the circumference of the earth, you know, is divided by the whatever, you know, precession of the equinox, and you get the exact diameter of the earth at the base of the pyramid, whatever the, like all that kind of weird stuff, right? Like they must have been around long enough and went through enough of these resets and lost all the information enough times for somebody to be like, bro, why don't we put 100,000 ton stones just like this so that in a million years they can look at this, and if they're smart enough, they'll be like, oh, these guys they understood they understood the elements and the alchemy and the math and all of that, the astrology, like they understood all this stuff thousands of years ago to have the like wherewithal to like put that into structures that could never be erased.
Yeah.
Because I don't care, bro. You could drop a nuke on the pyramids, bro. Like there's still gonna be something there that you know in the future you could look at and be like, oh look, like the angles of these, you know what I mean? Like you could still get it.
Yeah. So like our modern equivalent to that's going to be like museums and like science centers or whatever, maybe like a zoo, Red Robin, Cracker Barrel. They got some stuff on the walls there. that are like you could walk into a Cracker Barrel and be like, oh, interesting. They knew how to use bladed things, and they used tennis rackets to walk in the
Like
snow.
ancient
Interesting.
hieroglyphs on the wall inside the
You
Cracker
go into Red
Barrel.
Robin and be like, Andy Warhol. Interesting. I wonder who that was. The Beatles. What's this album on the ceiling? Why did they put everything on the ceilings here? Interesting. They must have been an up-necked people. Like,
Yeah, right.
their faces must have been on their head, on top of their heads.
That's funny. It's true. Though.
That's crazy, bro.
That's where we're going. That's
Man, dude, I've never thought about that before. Freaking the ancient stuff could have been inscribed on everything, like not like digitally or some form of digitally. Wow, it's crazy.
Yeah, they were
That's
just using cassettes. And nobody uses cassettes anymore.
Yeah.
So if you have your information on a cassette or a VHS, sucks to suck, bro. We're streaming now.
Dang. That makes me want to like figure out how to transcribe everything I've recorded onto like something physical.
On
Like
like
there's
a
a way to do that.
100-ton stone record.
Yeah. Or just like a really long, maybe like tin, just have it stamped into like metal or something.
It'll rust. It'll rust and turn to dust over a few hundred years.
That's true. What doesn't rust?
Stone.
Stone.
Gold.
Yeah, there's no way, dude.
You could make a solid gold record.
I could make a solid gold record, or I could like laser etch everything I've ever written microscopically into a giant plate of gold.
You can make a solid gold record, but you would also have to have a diagram inscribed in gold on how to play the gold record. So you'd have to have like, how do you make a record?
No
play?
idea how freaking scratching scratches makes sound.
Yeah, that always blew my mind too. Crystal's got a record player. I put it on. I'm like, how does this even work? I don't even understand how this works.
Who thought of that? Oh, we can take
demons.
your sound, put it through electricity, I guess somehow, and scratch it into vinyl, and then take something and then scratch that, and it's going to vibrate to make Nat King Cole's Christmas album. Get out of here, dude.
Demons, bro. Lucifer's technology, bro.
Yeah, man.
It's the only way. Anyways, well, we've been at this for a while. I got a MILF sim I got to get to here in about 15 minutes.
You got it, brother.
I gotta go. I gotta serve my country. Anyways, that was fun.
Yeah, dude.
You got anything else?
Well, we'll keep y'all posted on friggin' stupid Epstein who. That guy's not important. Nobody cares about him anymore.
Yeah,
if anything cool pops out, we'll be talking about it in the next one. Bye.
Deuces.